Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open one of the most monumental works of literature ever created, Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy. So, how do you even begin to wrap your head around a 700-year-old epic poem? Well, a critic once gave us the perfect metaphor. He said it's not a perfect, pristine Greek temple. It's a Gothic cathedral, vast, complex, full of shadows, and maybe even a little contradictory. All right, let's step inside. You see, The Divine Comedy isn't just a story. You've got to think of it as the entire medieval world, with all of its beliefs, its science, its conflicts, all rendered into one magnificent work of art.
And this is where things get really fascinating. You see this tension right here? On one hand, Dante's world was just steeped in religious mysticism and really abstract philosophy. But on the other hand, his poem is bursting with raw human reality and characters that are just unforgettable. That central conflict is what gives this cathedral all of its shadows and its light.
So who's our guide on this wild tour? Well, it's Dante himself, but here's the twist. He's not the author, he's a character in his own story. He finds himself totally lost, adrift in the middle of his life, and he realizes the only way to find salvation is to journey through the entire afterlife, hell, purgatory, and finally, heaven.
All right, every great cathedral needs a solid foundation, right? For Dante, that foundation is, well, it's hell, the Inferno. So let's take a look at the architecture of this place.
The whole place is built on this really powerful idea called contrapasso. Think of it as poetic justice on a cosmic scale. Sinners aren't just punished randomly. Their punishment is a twisted, eternal reflection of the actual sin they committed. It's a terrifyingly perfect system.
And believe me, this architecture is brilliant and incredibly organized. Hell isn't just some random pit of fire. It's this massive funnel descending through circles of worsening sin. It starts with sins of passion, like lust and gluttony, then moves down to violence. Deeper still, you find fraud, which takes intellect to commit. And at the very, very bottom, the worst sin of all, betrayal.
You really feel it with souls like Francesca da Rimini. Her words here are just heartbreaking. She and her lover are trapped forever in this violent whirlwind, which is of course the perfect mirror of the storm of passion that doomed them in the first place. So you see, their punishment is their sin, just played out forever. They can never escape the very thing that led them there. So you get to the very bottom, the absolute center of hell. And what do you find? Not fire, which is what you'd expect, right? No, it's ice. A frozen wasteland. And that's meant to symbolize the complete absence of God's love, the ultimate spiritual cold. This is where Lucifer himself, the first traitor, is trapped, a chilling image of a heart that's become totally devoid of any warmth at all. Okay, so after all that darkness, all that ice at the foundation, Dante finally starts to climb. He begins his ascent up Mount Purgatory. This is the part of our cathedral that's reaching for the sky.
And the difference, it's literally night and day. You can see it right here. The Inferno was all about eternal darkness and total despair. The souls there were unrepentant. But Purgatory, it's a place of sunlight and hope. The souls here are actively working to cleanse themselves because they know their suffering is temporary and it's leading them to heaven.
As Dante enters Purgatory, something really interesting happens. An angel literally carves 7 P's onto his forehead. Each P stands for peccatum, that's just Latin for sin, representing the 7 deadly sins. And as Dante climbs each of the 7 terraces of the mountain, 1 P gets erased. It symbolizes his own purification right alongside the souls he meets.
And this is what's so beautiful about Purgatory, the healing process. It's completely different from hell, where everyone was isolated in their own misery. Here, it's all about community. The souls sing hymns together, they pray for one another, and they look at art that shows them what virtue looks like. Their penance becomes this shared journey of recovery. And at last, we reach the top, the cathedral's highest spires, the light flooding through the stained glass windows. We've made it to Paradiso, heaven.
But up here, the journey it changes completely. All the physical, concrete trials of hell and purgatory, they're gone. As you can see, reality here is made of pure light, pure music. Individual forms start to dissolve as souls become one with this divine brilliance.
So as Dante travels higher and higher, he has this incredible realization. Heaven isn't one single place. It's more like a series of states of being, these celestial spheres. Souls just appear as points of light, and each one experiences God's divine love according to its own capacity, all of them together in perfect harmony.
A soul in Paradiso explains the secret to all this heavenly bliss with these incredible words. It's such a profound idea. You see, true peace isn't about getting everything you want. It's about aligning your own will so perfectly with God's will that there's no difference. It's about becoming part of that universal sea of creation.
Okay, so let's bring it back. We've toured this incredible 700-year-old literary cathedral. But why? Why does it still stand? What does it have to say to us right here, right now?
Well, it's because this poem is basically a timeless blueprint for the soul. I mean, look at this. It's a spiritual map, showing a path from darkness to light. It's also a cultural encyclopedia of a world that's long gone. But maybe, most importantly, it's just a deeply human story about justice, love, and redemption, about finding meaning after you've failed.
When you boil it all down, Dante's incredible journey through the afterlife, it's really a metaphor, isn't it? It's a metaphor for the journey every single one of us has to face inside ourselves. That path from being lost in a dark wood to finding a sense of purpose and light.
And that's the genius of it. This is a work that doesn't just ask us to look at its world, it forces us to look at our own. It makes us ask ourselves, what does that journey from darkness to light actually look like in our modern lives?